Hey everyone, welcome to All Techies, a place where you find tutorials on Android, Kotlin, and Firebase. I'm Pankaj Rai, and I'm continuing the series of Kotlin tutorials. So if you haven't checked out the old tutorial videos, then I have given a link in the description below. Do check out those videos. And in this tutorial, I'm going to talk about object extensions and visibility modifiers. So let's start with object first. So in Kotlin, object is like an expression, or you can declare the objects. And object really plays a very important role. Let me start with object as an expression first. Say that you have an interface as network, and you have a function inside this called as on connect. Now if you want to use this, then there is a way to access this. You can assign this to an object, say it like network, then object colon network, and now you can implement the method. So this is object expression. We're assigning it to an object. This is really useful for app developers when you want to get a click event from the recycler view. So this is one use case of object. Another one is, say that you have a class demo. Now inside this class, because Kotlin doesn't have a static keyword, so if you want to make the static components like for the object or for the methods, then how do you do that? So for that, we have an companion object inside this class, and whatever you specify here, either the objects or the functions annotated with @JVM static, they all become static members. For example, say if I say val number equals to 10, or fun get network info. So by default, whatever you specify here inside this companion object, it look like as if it's static, but in reality it's really not the static members, because under the hood it's going to create an object for both of them, and then through the object it try to access them. So if your objective is to make them static, then do not forget to add @JVM static. By this way you make this too as truly static. So by this way you can create the static members, static functions, and access it outside this class like demo.number, demo.getNetworkInfo. One thing which is really very confusing is like, even if I remove this, it still remains same. So it give a feel as if it's a static member, because with the static member we get this advantage. With class name dot static member you get the access like this without creating an object, but under the hood it's creating an object for you. So if you want to avoid that creation of new objects, then do not forget to add this JVM static. And the last thing about object is singleton. So how do you create singleton in Kotlin? So it's very easy. You create an object, name of an object, and say I want to create an OKHTTP singleton methods. Then I could say like HTTP client, HTTP client, and either I can directly initialize the value, or I can have it inside the init block. Finally, if this HTTP client has to be used with some other things also, then I can also have a function here. And in this place, I can use HTTP and then do certain things related to this, and finally return the value. So by this way, you get a singleton in Kotlin. You can call something like demo.http client or demo. Whatever functions which you have created. One thing to remember is that when you call this property then this only get initialized once whenever this demo class is getting executed. Now under the hood, it's going to create a class. You are giving it like an object, but this will be a final class. But this is not true with function. So do not try to assign any singleton content inside function, because the function part, this is going to get executed over and over. So if you say you want to create a singleton for retrofit, and if you are doing it inside a function, which you are calling it like demo.function name, then it's not going to give you the singleton method. It's like you are getting a multiple objects, multiple instance of it, as this function content gets executed over and over. Now let's move on to the extension. Extension in Kotlin is a way to add features without inheriting the class or properties. Say for example, I have a string, and on that string I want an ability to say add dollars or want to convert this to some other format, then I can write an extension over it. Say for example, I could say fun string dot add dollar. What it means is that fun is, it's indicating that this is going to be a function. So if you avoid this, then this is normal function in Kotlin. So here you have a function called as add dollar. On whichever say object you want to have an extension, you have to specify it before the function name. So I want to have an extension over string. So I'm saying like string dot add dollars. What it means is that on any of the string object, I'll able to call this method. And say I could say print dollar is added for whatever number which I'm getting here. I could get like this. So it's going to give me the string object. So I could call something like 150 dot add dollar. A straightforward approach. This is a function extension because we have a function on a string object. This 150 is something which will get replaced with this here. And same way you can return the values also. This could be on string, int, float, or any of the class. It could be on anything, any object. But we are not limited till only function extension. We also have something called as property extension. Like same thing, if I do not want to do in a function way, I just want to do it like a property. That means while I'm having an object, on that object rather than having a function, I want it like a property, which means say I have val, and on a string I want to add dollar, and this is of type string. Then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to return the same value. So this is a function extension. Function extension, and another one is property extension. So the major difference between both of them is like here with the function extension, you do all sort of operation. If you want to return the value, return it. If you do not want to return, just ignore it. With property extension, it returns value to you. And you cannot have a setter for this. That means I cannot assign a value. I cannot change anything here. It's just for getting some sort of content. So I can call something like 100 dot add dollar. So this is for the property. and this is for the function extension. And same is applicable for int, float, double, all sort of things. Remember that only getter is allowed, which means that this has to be val only. You cannot have var here, because var give you for the getters and setters property, and this is only allowed for the get property. So this has to be val. Okay, now let's come back to the final topic of this tutorial, which is visibility modifier. Kotlin offers 4 visibility modifier which you can set on class, function, or the members variables, which is public, protected, private, and internal. Public is like it's open for entire project, so the visibility is available throughout the project. Protected is it's like a private, but the visibility is available to the subclasses, which means that when you're doing an inheritance, then if you want something to be accessible to the inherited classes, then you can specify them as protected. Private is like you're just making it visible only to that particular files or a method. You don't want to get the content accessible outside that particular class or file or function. Internal is like any client inside this particular module where you are defining this object, say a class or a function, who can see the declaring class, see its internal members also. So this is really good if you want to limit the visibility based on modules. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope this might be useful for you to understand about the object extensions and the visibility modifiers in Kotlin. For upcoming tutorials, stay tuned to this channel, and if you haven't subscribed this, then hit the subscribe button, like the video, and do share it with your friends. Thank you and stay tuned.